So yesterday was a really disappointing loss, and to be totally honest, it was a very disappointing day altogether. But for Cam Jordan specifically, it might have been a little bit harder and tugged on the heartstrings a little bit more. So I'm going to discuss that in today's video because he did discuss his future plans, and we've got to talk about what the future is for Cam Wham Bam Jordan, baby. So in today's show, we're going to dive into it. Here is what Cam Jordan said specifically. You never know what's going to happen. As much as I feel like I can play 3-4 more years, whatever it is, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So let's get down in the comment section. I need every single one of you to type 94 down in the comment section, because if this is the end of Cameron Jordan's career as a New Orleans Saint, it's been one hell of a career. He has been one of the best all time to ever rock the fleur-de-lis on the side of the helmet. And in my personal opinion, he's one of my favorite all-time NFL players. Doesn't matter the team. He's a great guy. I absolutely love Cam Jordan, and I actually had the honor of getting to meet him at the Combine last year. So, Cam, just want to say thank you so much to everything you've done in New Orleans. Hopefully this isn't the end, but if it is, what a hell of a ride it's been. My name is Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show, and let's dive into further details. So, Cameron Jordan, like I showed you guys off the top of this video, he's made it very clear that he intends to play in 2025. But there is some interesting information when it comes down to the cap that you have to consider, because in 2025, it is the last year that he is actually under contract to play for the New Orleans Saints. He has a few void years tacked on to the back end of his contract, but right now, he is set to make $20 million. I think 1.5 of that, to be exact, is fully guaranteed. So there's a conversation to be had. There is an honest conversation, because right now the Saints are underperforming. Right now, he's not playing defensive end. He wants to be on the outside. The Saints have been lining up on the inside quite a bit as an interior pass rusher, and I think that's been a nice little change. And ever since Darren Rizzi has taken over after Dennis Allen got fired, you've seen Cameron Jordan's snap count rise up, and you've also seen the production rise up. So for Cam Jordan specifically, I want to see what he still has in the tank. And I think that he's shown that he still has some juice. It's not a lot in my opinion, but he's still got some juice. And like I mentioned, he wants to return. And that's a big key factor here. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to go play for another team. He doesn't want to retire. He wants to play another season. And he even said to media after the game, hopefully I'm part of the picture. We don't know, though. We're still sitting in an uncertain time. We're here sitting in uncertain times because we don't know what the future holds for Cam Jordan. Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the quarterback? The New Orleans Saints have a lot of very, very tough decisions to make this offseason, which is why you got to subscribe, because we're going to be covering every ounce of information every step along the way. I'm going to be out at the Combine again this year. I'm going to be giving you guys as much coverage as I possibly can, ramping everything up, because I want to give you the best fan base in the whole wide world, the best coverage in the whole wide world. So for Cam Jordan, it's obvious he wants to play, but does it make sense for the future? We're going to discuss that here momentarily. But really quick, got to give a big time shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. And hey, the playoffs are here, and right now, it's now or never. So don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. And you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks if you use our code CLNS when you download the PrizePicks app, and you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. PrizePicks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. And you can join now because PrizePicks is giving out so much cash. And throughout the playoffs, whether you're watching college football, whether you're watching professional football, whether you're watching basketball, whether you're wanting to talk baseball, you want to talk Call of Duty, PrizePicks has it covered. And for this upcoming game, we're putting this video out today, so I want to talk some Monday Night Football. It's not a playoff game quite yet, but hey, still a lot of implications for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown, who actually helped me win my fantasy football championship, or league. I'm up ahead right now, so life's good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I need the more on his rushing and receiving touchdowns. Just got to get one. And hey, I'm making some cash. Jahmyr Gibbs, I want to see him get 93.5, more than that in terms of his rushing yards. And then Jake Moody, I actually took 1.5 field goal made. That's a goblin pick, meaning the payout, it's a little bit harder to get, but it's a much nicer payout. So you can download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks. Run your game. So the big deal here is we all know. We've gone through, we've talked about it for the first 3-4 minutes of this video. Cameron Jordan wants to be back next year. He wants to play for the New Orleans Saints. He wants to wear the black and gold. The big caveat, though, he can want to play, but it takes two to tango. The Saints are going to have to want Cameron Jordan back. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, this is a really important offseason. They have to clear up some money. They have to be able to plan for the future because at this point in time, the kicking the can down the road game, it isn't working. You have 5 wins. It is done. It's time to stop that nonsense. So right now, if you were to move on from Cameron Jordan in 2025, if he retires, the New Orleans Saints save about $11 million. If you make him a pre-June 1st cut, you actually lose just under $4 million. But if you make him a post-June 1 cut, it's $11 million. And then you see the numbers for pre-June and post-June 1st trades. You actually can save the most amount of money if you trade him. I don't think that that's going to happen because, in my personal opinion, I do believe that Cam Jordan wants to do right by the Saints, and the Saints want to do right by Cam Jordan. So if Cam wants to do right by the Saints and take a pay cut, then, hey, let's run it back. Let's do it. I'm all for that. I just don't think $20 million is really worth Cam Jordan's production right now. And it's one of those, like, I'm trying to be respectful for what Cam has done over the past X amount of years, ever since he got drafted back in 2011. But I'm also trying to sit here and be honest about the future because Saints got to figure some shit out. And, you know, Cam Jordan did say that he's willing to take a pay cut. I mean, maybe that's what I interpreted it. The quote exactly is, that's what agents are for. I'm willing to work. I love being a part of my city, a part of this city, the city of New Orleans. So if Cam Jordan and his agent can work a pay cut out, I think that's a lot better of a deal, in my personal opinion, because then both parties can be happy. And Cam Jordan, he even said this, and it proves just more and more that he doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't want to play for another team. So when we're talking about the cut and the trade and how much money that can save the Saints, he's not interested in that. He only wants to play for the Saints. The Saints have been the only home I've ever known. So if you're going to shut that door, you're going to have to shut it for me because I'm not going to do it myself. As much as I bleed, I think I only bleed black and gold. But if you force me to go bleed somewhere else, a soldier fights wherever, whenever, however. And I think that's in total testament to Cam Jordan and his mentality of the game. He wants to keep playing. He still thinks he has 2, 3, maybe even 4 good years left in him. And I know that him playing for one team is a big deal to him. He wanted to get that contract to retire as a New Orleans Saint. He wanted to be able to have that tenure of being on one team just like his father. He wants to be able to have an extensive career as a pass rusher. I mean, he's looking at guys, he's texting guys like Calais Campbell saying, bro, how are you doing this, man? I'm getting exhausted. Like, how do you continue to play and put up really good numbers and play at a high level? Because I'm getting exhausted. But, you know, Cam, this is kind of where this whole video came to fruition. Cam Jordan took extra time to thank the Saints fans yesterday. It was reported that he was on the field with Demario Davis about 2 hours after the game ended. That's a long time. That's a really long time to go and share some extra love to the fan base. And it's a fan base that's loved him. It's a fan base that he loves. And so I think it's just really cool to see how important it is to Cam Jordan to show that appreciation to the fan base. And he also did say that he wants to take care of the fan base. He wants to take care of everybody. He wants to take care of the people who have taken care of him. The city of New Orleans has always rocked with us. Even in a piss-poor season like this one, there's still all the mamas, the papa out there taking care of us. So I got nothing but love for it. So I was just trying to show a little appreciation. And if it's the last time, or if it's the last one, then I'm going to go out my way anyway. And look, just to kind of ramble, just to kind of get my last few thoughts out, final thoughts on this, Cam Jordan deserves a better send-off. I don't think that the Saints should try to move on from him. I don't think that the Saints should try and force him into retirement. He's still putting up good numbers, down in terms of his career, but he's still performing well. and his impact is still on the field. And his impact on the field, it's important, but off the field, he's still acting as a mentor to some of the younger pass rushers. And even Trey Hendrickson gave a lot of credit to Cam Jordan for his long-term success. He poured into him at an early point in his career, and thus, look how good Trey Hendrickson has been. I mean, he's one of the best edge rushers in the league. So for Cam Jordan specifically, I think he deserves a better send-off. I don't think that a loss like that to the Raiders at home, that should not be the end of his legacy as a New Orleans Saint. And maybe I'll have a little bit of, rose-tinted glasses on this. Maybe I'm a little bit overly optimistic about Cameron Jordan. I'm fully willing to accept that burden and to bear that cross because I think Cameron Jordan is still a good football player. And for a team that needs to add to their pass rush group, what better person to pour into a young pass rusher for one more year maybe than Cam Jordan? Like the guy that embodies the city of New Orleans, the guy that has taken on the state of Louisiana. He has made the state. He's made the city. He has made the mentality that all of the great state of Louisiana has and all of the people who live there. He has taken that on and personally embodied it. Cameron Jordan, no question about it, is one of the most special players to ever wear the black and gold. So I want to see him get one more shot. I still think he has enough in the tank to still be productive, at least in a rotational role. But we all know Cam, he wants to make an impact. He thinks that he still can make an impact. So it's up to whether or not the Saints want him to. So I know that a lot of y'all are probably going to have different opinions. Some of you guys are like on the boat of, look, he was great. Thanks for all the fun memories. Thanks for all the sacks and all that good stuff. But it's time to close the book. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. So I'm not even going to ask you whether or not you want to keep Cameron Jordan, whether or not you want to run it back. I'm just going to ask you to show some love to a legend. Just type levels in the chat. The best sack celebration in all of football. We got to show some love to Wham Bam. Thank you, Cam. He's a wonderful player, an excellent man. And to be totally honest, the New Orleans Saints defense, it's going to be hard to recognize it without him on the field. So, Cam, we love you. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.